fatted the land, collecting welfare, having 16 children. And guess what? They were plotting to blow up the Vatican. You wouldn't have thought that, huh? You just wouldn't have thought it because Obama's told you it's the religion of peace. And what have the Republicans done this week? What have they done this week? Why, they lobbied and voted for Obama's Attorney General nominee. A lawless, out-of-control Attorney General is coming that will make Eric Holder look like a Snow White. That's number one. Your Republicans did that. McConnell and the other Republicans fought for amnesty. McConnell and the other Republicans did not stand up for religious freedom. McConnell and the other Republicans pulled the plug on disapproving of the abortion mandate bill. There are many other things that your government did, showing us the trouble we are in because we have an imperial presidency with virtually no government whatsoever. And to prove my point, the day after the disclosure in the New York Times that cash flowed to Bill Clinton in the form of his foundation as the Russians pressed for the control of a uranium company, which is probably the greatest scandal in my lifetime. It's bigger than the Teapot Dome scandal, which was nothing compared to this. And it's interesting, when I was in high school, they were telling us about the Teapot Dome scandal. We have a scandal much larger than the Teapot Dome scandal, and perhaps exceeding that of the Rosenberg scandal. And yet we open up the websites and we see Bruce Jenner. We turn to the opposition party that doesn't exist and listen to John Boehner, the day after the uranium scandal, blows apart in our face. Listen to clip one.
I know the Clintons pretty well. I've served with them here for 8 years. I've known them since then. And, they're good public servants. But there are a lot of questions that are being raised. And at some point, they're going to have to answer the questions. They're good people, but there's questions that have to be answered.
They're good people? Isn't that what John McCain said about Obama in 2007 during the debates when someone said he's a Muslim and he doesn't love America, and McCain shut her up and said he's a good man? Now you got Boehner saying the Clintons are good people? Now, what am I talking about? The Clintons are allegedly involved in something analogous to the Julius and Ethel Rosenberg spying scandal of the 1950s, but some would say it may even be worse. You see, the Rosenbergs stole nuclear secrets and sold them to the Russians. They are American citizens. They conspired to commit espionage, and they passed information about the atomic bomb to the Soviet Union. And they were caught, and they were executed for their crime of treason. That was then, this is now. A House investigatory panel has summoned Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton to testify in a May 18th public hearing about our use of a private email server during a tenure as Secretary of State. You know that they're going to treat her with kid gloves, and you know they'll exonerate her and she'll look like a victim. And now I want to move on to something that's very important, which is 20 things I trust more than Hillary Clinton. 20 things I trust more than Hillary Clinton. They include a porcupine with a pet me sign. 20 things I trust more than Hillary Clinton includes Bill Clinton with my teenage daughter. 20 things I trust more than Hillary Clinton includes Mexican tap water, an elevator ride with Ray Rice. 20 things I trust more than Hillary Clinton include taking pills or a drink offered by Bill Cosby. 20 things I trust more than Hillary Clinton includes a Hillary Clinton war story reported by Brian Williams. Things I trust more than Hillary Clinton include gas station sushi, Jimmy Carter with the economy, an ISIS traveler on a motorcycle. Things I trust more than Hillary Clinton include Pete Carroll coaching decisions, eating an apple from an orchard at Fukushima reactor number 4. Yes, things I trust more than Hillary Clinton include my hitching a ride from a guy in a goalie mask, or the ingredients in a baseball stadium hot dog. Things I trust more than Hillary Clinton would include Nancy Pelosi's grip on reality, or finally, something I trust more than Hillary Clinton would include Jerry Sandusky as a Boy Scout leader. Oh my God, what a world we're in. So if you expect this uranium scandal to bring Hillary to the realization that she's unelectable, you're mistaken. And the reason you're mistaken is you have no idea what psychosis is. I've told you 1,000 times that anyone who runs for higher office, basically there's something wrong with them mentally. I don't care how good they are. There is something wrong with anyone who wants to be a politician. Or they're so corrupt that they have no other way to make a living. The human beings I know who are very competent, usually they have a profession or a business They have no desire to be in politics, which is why we get the level that we get. That's to start with. But when you see corruption like this, you have to ask yourself, how could a country survive? How could a country survive? The only one of the bunch on the Republican side that I don't think is as corrupt as this would be the two of them. Rand Paul and Ted Cruz cannot be this corrupt. It's impossible. Rubio looks to me like he's as corruptible as any of them. I don't trust Rubio personally. I don't know him, but I mean, I get a bad feeling off Rubio. I think he's a sleazeball. He's the kind of sleazeball only Rush Limbaugh could back. The other two, all right, I would say I don't think there's any corruption in them. There are reasons I'm not attracted to them, but that's my own personal opinion. I would vote for Scott Walker until I hear something more from him. But we're focused today on this stink coming out of the Clinton sewer. And in a sane nation, there would be a demand for hearings today. We talked earlier that this is nothing new, we said. It goes back to Loral Space and Technology. When Bernie Schwartz, what a wonderful person. Are you kidding? Came from humble Jewish background in Brooklyn. And look what he made of himself. A man starts out with such little in life. And through hard work and genius, look what he made of himself. So what if he sold technology to China that was allegedly giving them the advantage to bomb America with ICBMs? It was found nothing but right-wing lies. It was put out by those evil anti-Semitic right-wingers. I mean, he was cleared by the Justice Department. He's a wonderful grandfather in Brooklyn. Lives in Manhattan now, not Brooklyn. Wonderful man. If you look at him, looks like Madoff, but a clean Madoff. There was nothing to that scandal about Loral Space and Technology back in '98. There was nothing but anti-Semitic right-wingers who did it to him. The same anti-Semitic right-wingers that were doing it to Hillary and Bill right now. Even though they're not Jewish, they're sort of Jewish. I mean, when Hillary and Bill are picked on, they're honorarily Jewish because they're victims. They're being picked on only because of their religion. Even though that's not their religion, it's sort of like their religion. They're persecuted. They're persecuted because she's such a good person. That's what we're talking about. Will it stop one moronic woman from voting for her? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. What are you talking about? You all do it. You don't know what, ma'am, do you know what we're talking about here, about the sale of uranium from the United States of America to Russia? And approved by Hillary Clinton's State Department. Who cares? Who cares? They all do it. Now leave me alone. I'm heading off to the salon. I'm getting a touch-up. This is the country. Everyone votes. Everyone's equal. That's why we have Obama as president. Next we'll have something worse. I want to shift, though, to something entirely different. A plane bound for Amman, Jordan goes down in the Caspian Sea. The crash yields no survivors except the hijacker. And a cask containing an agent of unprecedented destructive potential is missing from the plane wreckage. A carefully plotted terrorist attack has been put into motion, and the resulting chaos might be enough to push America toward another costly war. Countdown to Mecca, it's a gripping page-turner. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Well, as we come into the closing minutes of the Savage Nation this Friday, I have to tell you, Ted Cruz did a very noble thing yesterday. He tried to block the appointment of this terrible, terrible woman, Loretta Lynch, who at any speed is going to be much worse, much, much worse by her own words than what we've just lived through the reign of terror of Eric Holder. So listen to Ted Cruz as he tried to stop the Republican bums from ushering her in. Listen to this.
And I would note a particular onus falls on the new Republican majority. For several months, I've called on the Republican majority to block the confirmation of President Obama's executive and judicial nominees other than vital national security positions unless and until the president rescinds his lawless amnesty. I'm sorry to say the majority leadership has been unwilling to do so.
Okay, listen to the next one. 24.
The Republican majority, if it so chose, could defeat this nomination, but the Republican majority has chosen to go forward and allow Loretta Lynch to be confirmed. I would note There are more than a few voters back home that are asking what exactly is the difference between a Democratic and Republican majority when the exact same individual gets confirmed as Attorney General promising the exact same lawlessness. What's the difference? That's a question each of us will have to answer to our constituents when we come home. Now more than ever, we need an Attorney General with the integrity and faithfulness of law to stand up to the President. Attorneys General in both parties, Republican and Democrat, have done so when credible allegations of wrongdoing by Richard Nixon were raised. His Attorney General, Elliot Richardson, appointed a special prosecutor, Archibald Cox, to investigate regardless of partisan politics. When credible allegations of wrongdoing by Bill Clinton arose, his Attorney General, Janet Reno, a Democrat, appointed Robert Fisk, the independent counsel, to investigate those allegations. Eric Holder has been unwilling to demonstrate that same faithfulness to law, and unfortunately, Ms. Lynch has told the Senate she, too, is unwilling to do so. For that reason, I urge all of my colleagues to vote no on cloture and to insist on an Attorney General who will uphold her oath to the Constitution and to the people of the United States of America.
No. Unfortunately, Ted Cruz failed and the bad men won. The bad men run by the black hats under the leadership of the posse of John Boehner won, and they put this woman in, and we know what's coming. And that's a terrible thing. Believe me, it's a terrible thing. And we know that the scandal right now that is bigger than the Teapot Dome scandal, approaching that of espionage or sedition, the yellow cake uranium coming out of our own ground being sold to Russia right underneath our noses, and Bill Clinton profiting handsomely at the same time. Coincidentally, we don't know, but only a special prosecutor would be able to get to the bottom of that. You think that's going to happen under this Attorney General? No, that's why she was ushered in by the Republicans, because they don't want an investigation. And why don't they want an investigation of Hillary Clinton? Well, you'll have to answer that question yourself. And I have to conclude by playing John Boehner again, calling her a good woman. Let's hear it again.
I know the Clintons pretty well. I've served with them here for 8 years. I've known them since then. And, they're good public servants. But there are a lot of questions that are being raised. And at some point, they're going to have to answer the questions. They're good people, but there's questions that have to be answered.
It makes you wonder if John Boehner was left in a basket outside the 2 a.m. club, because there's no other explanation for this man's unwillingness to act in a manner befitting the Speaker of the House of Representatives. In essence, the leader of the Republican Party. Not one word of doubt about the Clintons. They're all good people. The same way McCain said that Obama was a good person when questioned about it when he was running for the presidency. Well, is Obama a good person? How did that work out for America? Well, that's it for the Savage Nation, flying across the continent again tomorrow. Life is a hospital where every patient is possessed with the desire to change beds, and I'm going to change beds tomorrow night. Good night.